We're here with Lars, one of the people behind Norway's infamous Inferno Festival. We're here tonight at the kickoff for the 9th edition, which is it usually happens a couple of months before the festival when they announce the full lineup to the public, etc., etc. So, Lars, how does it feel to be on Inferno number 9 at this point?
At this point, I mean, the years have gone by so fast. You know,
Yeah.
I can't really believe it.
You've been there since the beginning.
Yeah, I worked with it since the beginning.
Yeah,
since the first year. So it's been really fast. You know, it's like a whole year thing. So the years go by like a whisker.
I'm curious about that. How much work throughout the year goes into this whole operation?
I would say it's not a full job for me, you know. But it could be up to like it depends a bit from year to year, but it could be up to like half a job. Or,
really?
Yeah. So, but you know, because we begin in June.
That's when you begin. So like
we usually begin in June, and then July is pretty dead, you know, because then everyone's on vacation and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's quite a few hours most years.
Okay.
Some years more than that.
Okay, and on that subject, are there any years of the festival that stand out for you, not because of the lineups particularly, or for any kind of like reasons? For example, last year was the first time you had like a 4-day edition of the festival.
There's some years you're more happy with than others, you know, because things come together just better. You know?
Yeah.
Because we're relying on, well, when it comes to the bands, we're relying on who's available, who's willing to play, and you know, who we can get, you know. So, but I guess like 2003 was a really good year. Last year I think was a good year, and the year before as well.
Yeah. 2003 was the year when you had, for example, I remember it was Opeth and
Imhotep.
Yeah. And it's funny to think about a band like Opeth.
Children will do them, I think, as well.
Yeah. Two bands who since then have gone on to. I mean, I know, for example, Opeth were not headlining when they played that time.
No, they were second last.
Second last, and now they're a band that can like sell out the venue where Inferno was held themselves on a weeknight. And
I think didn't they have like 2 concerts there last time they were in Oslo? I think so.
It could have been, I'm not sure, but it's good to see bands who have kind of grown after the festival has taken them on. Another example would be, of course, if we're going to mention Ireland, Primordial, who never played in Norway until Inferno booked them, and now at this point their last album especially has blown up quite a bit in Norway. And so, I mean, I think regarding Inferno, Norway is sometimes a difficult country for bands, you know, let's say death or black metal bands, to make as part of the touring schedule. So do you think that that's a big advantage to Inferno, the fact that there's a lot of bands who are maybe more than keen to play in Norway because it's difficult to get to compared to some other countries?
In a way, I mean, I think especially, you know, you mentioned a few bands, and I think we have an advantage, you know, after we've done this a few times, and you know, people playing in bands, they talk to each other. So so when they have a good experience, and you know, the popularity grows after the festival, it's easier to get other foreign bands after that, you know, because we've spoken to this and those people, you know, and
so the word is spreading.
Yeah. So that's definitely an advantage. And Oslo as well is, I mean, Oslo, there's quite a few concerts, you know. Every band that comes to Norway plays at least in Oslo.
Yeah, sure.
So it makes it a bit harder to get known here because there's so many gigs. So if you only do that one, not get that many people come.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's the first time, you know, you have to work it a few times before you work up a crowd, and that's something that the festival can help bands with.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the capacity or the amount of tickets put on sale to the public is 1,500. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and I mean, so for bands to get a chance to play in front of that many people, it's a big advantage.
Yeah, it's a decent crowd. I mean, medium to not the biggest ones, but the most extreme metal bands. For most of them, it's a good crowd in Norway.
Yeah, very much so, I think.
So,
do you have often have there been problems with bands that would have been within the radar of Inferno, as in they wouldn't have been? They're a band that you could have afforded, that would have suited the festival, that you haven't managed to secure. Does it happen often that there are bands that you're trying to get but just don't get?
Of course, but I mean, there are different reasons. Usually it's because of an availability for some reason.
Okay.
And, you know, it's
of course.
So sometimes we want more than we can get. Simple as that. But so every year, you know, or most years, some years we've been very happy with, you know, but But most years there's always some bands that you would really like to get that you couldn't get because of availability. You know, it's part of the frustration.
It's part of the game as well, I suppose. I noticed that this year, for the bands that are going to be playing this year, there's a couple of surprises in there. We just got the list hot off the press here. Paradise Lost, which, I mean, for me it's a very good choice because I'm a long-time fan. A band like Paradise Lost received some flack because they kind of veered away from the roots, whatever, and they've slowly made a kind of a progressive journey back. And I think some people have accepted them back, and accepted the fact that they had their experimental period. So I think it's maybe a brave move for Inferno to book Paradise Lost to play.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it's a pretty safe choice. I mean, I know that people will be, some people will be a bit skeptic about it, but it's a band that's always good live.
Yeah.
You know, it's a safe bet that way, and the latest couple of albums they have slowly gone back to
very much so,
the way they were before. You know, and they're promising to do even more so on the album. They're like recording as we speak, and so so I think that will be a very good gig. I mean, I'm very sure of it, and I think, but that's that's part of what you were mentioning earlier. Actually, some of these bands, people are a bit skeptic about. But the thing is, we want to drag them over and get like a broader audience to see them. And there's a lot of bands that afterwards, have received like people like, oh, I didn't know,
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know what this really was, before I saw it, because they wouldn't go to a normal gig with it. And that's like part of the equation, You have to have like a few bands that people know and really want to see, a few bands that they know but they didn't really know what it was, which are really interesting after they first seen them live, and that's all about the mix.
Has there? I mean, I haven't noticed myself actually. Just discussing the bands we're going to be playing. Have there been any crisis situations during Inferno where, like, a band who would have been not necessarily a headliner or whatever, but like a band who would have been a main band in the bill, who have cancelled or whatever at very short notice? Has that happened?
No, not headliners.
No, or even like maybe.
We have done like cancellations like around Christmas time, but that's not like a huge
never
crisis because we have a month to fix it. But
never lastminute.com.
And that's been because the studio time changed.
Yeah,
like that. So a valid reason.
Yeah.
But no headliners on very short notice. Not after we kick off.
That's good. I mean, because last week you had the Metal Merchants Festival here in Oslo, and the Hallows Eve or one of the headliners, they cancel at quite short notice, Which could be,
that's always a
it's a risk, right? Yeah. Another question would be, being that I'm from Ireland, and whenever bands play in Ireland, you have you have a body of water between England and Ireland, so bands can travel by boat if they have a nightliner. And I'm guessing a lot of bands coming to Inferno have to come by boat, perhaps. Maybe take the ferry from Denmark.
Not so many. I mean, well, maybe some because
it's always a risk with the.
I'm not quite. I don't have like the total overview of that, but like Pestilence, whether we start a European tour here.
Okay.
So they probably come by nightliner, and then I guess they will come by ferry or ride.
It's never something that worries you.
The bridge, we have the bridge now.
Of course, you have the bridge. Yeah, of course, yeah, because like
most of the bands, foreign bands, fly in.
Okay.
If they're not on tour.
Yeah, and so this year I've seen the bands who are playing, but I haven't seen the order. So I would guess that you will, as headliners, Paradise Lost will headline one night.
Yeah.
Pestilence?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
They're on Thursday before Meshuggah.
Meshuggah will headline on Thursday. Okay. Yeah.
Paradise Lost on Friday.
Yeah.
And then Carpet first after summer and the last day.
Okay. One thing actually.